What's up, guys? Welcome back. Been a little quiet lately, but I can assure you there's a lot of really cool stuff coming, especially NFL weekly prediction videos that'll be coming very, very soon. Cannot wait for that. The full crew will be back at it, and we will be starting off year two very, very, very soon for our predictions. But today we have a brand new series, and this will last a few days, and then in September there's a lot of really cool soap content coming, including a top secret project that I'm working on. Can't get into it right now, but make sure you stay tuned. So today, this is going to be the start of a series. I have never really made individual videos like the ones that I will be releasing now. This is after years and years of soap review experience. I am making some lists, and some of these lists have actually been requested by subscribers, soap fans, and soap customers, so it makes sense. These videos will be ranking and also just listing different questions that people typically have about different companies. And since I've tried many, many, many different companies and more soap than most people in the entire world, I will be giving out as much expertise as I possibly can. But then again, at the end of the day, it is all opinionated. So let me know what you guys think in the comments during and after the video. Today's video is my take on the most underrated soap bars from each of the main companies that I reviewed over the past few years. Not the state of Maine, the actual ones that never mind. Alright, so we're just going to start off with Dr. Squatch. So Dr. Squatch is tough because everyone's heard of them, and a lot of people have seen their newer stuff because that's when they've become more popular. So I'm going to give you two for Dr. Squatch. One of them will be a limited edition bar, and the other one will be part of their main lineup. I keep saying main. I really think it is just because I'm wearing the hat here. So, for their limited edition bar, I'll start with that one because that one's a newer release from last year. And that is Ninny Scrubbins. And I think it is slightly underrated because when I tried it, I thought it was very, very good, especially considering a lot of Dr. Squatch recent releases over the past couple years have not been that impressive, but I thought Ninny Scrubbins was great. And I've heard a lot of people also say that they were pleasantly surprised by how good Ninny Scrubbins was. It just kind of seemed like a joke of a bar from the outside. It's an elf-themed bar for Christmas. It came out with a reskinned hot chalky brick, and I thought it was fantastic. Some people say it has a slight marshmallow scent, but when I smelled it, I thought it had kind of like a cranberry, juniper, like very slight piney fragrance, and then some peppermint and some other sweet, fruity aspects to it. I thought it was a great brick, really. And that was just released last winter. So I think that's a kind of an underrated bar. People don't talk about it that much. It hasn't been out very long. It was only out for a very short amount of time. I'm not even sure if it was on the website or if it was in store only. I bought mine at Walmart, so I'm not sure how many people actually got to try it. So that's why I think it is an underrated bar from Dr. Squatch. And then my underrated brick from Dr. Squatch from the main lineup. This is a bar that was my favorite, and then one of my favorites before it was reformulated, but I still want to include it. I still think it's a good brick, but it's Dr. Squatch is not what it used to be, of course. And this is a bar that the OGs will know. The OGs will know. Gary828 will agree with this one as well. This is Gold Moss. When I first tried it, it was actually called Gold Moss Scrub. And this bar had such an outdoorsy, woodsy fragrance, but it had a little bit of a sweetness to it as well. Ingredients were great. It was pretty simple. It just had some sea salt and some other natural ingredients, but it smelled very outdoorsy, but it was the earthy fragrance wasn't like a bitter one or a smoky one or a musky one. It was like a sweet, refined outdoor fragrance, and it's not really anything I found replicated from any company. I've never smelled a brick that smelled like the original Gold Moss, ever. great fragrance, and that's really what the essence of what Dr. Squatch used to be. It was a very straightforward, unique, outdoorsy, manly scent. And it was fantastic and it was unique. And they should have never changed it, but that's a story for another day. But Gold Moss and Gold Moss Scrub, just phenomenal. I think it's underrated. It doesn't have as many of the unique ingredients that some other bricks have, or the crazily named ingredients that they have, and it doesn't have the fancy collabs or any of that stuff. But it's definitely underrated. A lot of people missed the original, and even now, I think it's a very solid bar. Before Dr. Squatch used to be about all the different collabs and marketing and stuff like that, it was really just a good quality brick, and it was great. So if you know, you know. But Gold Moss and Ninny Scrubbins, those are my two underrated bars from Dr. Squatch. Not flashy, but they are just great scents and good quality ingredients. Moving on to Sudsy Bear, we have, and these are in no particular order. I'm just going kind of in order of the companies that I tried, like in chronological order. So don't take anything from that really. So next up we have Sudsy Bear. I'll just do two from each one, most likely. Sudsy Bear, we have Milky Beehive for the first one, and I chose this one because it's not something, I don't really get as much stuff from Sudsy Bear anymore. It's been a while, but Sudsy Bear Milky Beehive was one of the first bricks that I tried from them. It was in the first order that I tried from them, and it was one of my favorite ones. I just like the combo. There are some bricks from other companies that are similar, but not a lot of different companies. It's few and far between, and I think this is definitely the best quality one. It has goat's milk and it has natural honey from their actual beehives that they have. Sudsy Bear, they actually make honey too, and I've tried that, and it was great. But as far as the bar soap goes, great for your skin. The scents are very complementary between the honey and the goat's milk. And the lather was one of the best lathers I've ever had. Just very underrated. Another bar, it's not flashy, but it's very, very natural. The ingredients are top tier, and the scent was great. So that's kind of the qualifications of a very underrated bar. And it's not one that you really hear talked about, not much then, and especially not now in the soap circle. And the second one is Twisted Mango. This one is a little more of a subtle scent, and it's been like somewhat reformulated a few times, I believe. I think it's pretty good. It's another one you just never really hear talked about, but it has a different kind of woodsy undertone, not like a pine, but it's like a rainforest woodsy undertone. And the mango is pretty good. It has some aloe vibes in there as well, and like a slight bourbon undertone, but not very much. But I thought it was a really good bar, and it's just one that doesn't really get talked about. Just main baseline brick, straight out of their original or somewhat original catalog. But Twisted Mango, one of my favorites of the originals. All right, moving on, we have Grizzly Naturals. So one of them that I have on here was a limited edition bar, and I think it came out last fall, but it might have been 2 falls ago. Memory is a little fuzzy when it comes to all these different releases and all the different years. So the one that I actually liked a lot was maybe one of the less popular ones from their Halloween release, and that was Full Moon. Now that I think about it, I think this might have been 2 years ago when it came out. It came out Full Moon, and then they had their Psycho Pumpkin, and then there was a graveyard one too, and I forgot the name of it. But I thought Full Moon was pretty cool. It was full of different, unique fruit ingredients. I think star fruit was one of them. There was like some pineapple, and then just some other unique ingredients. But I thought it smelled pretty good. It was kind of an acquired scent, but I thought it was actually pretty solid and unique. And I liked how they were willing to be bold with that scent selection, and I liked it. It was kind of a risky move, but I thought it was pretty good. I think some people kind of were either scared to try it or just weren't really into it, but once you use it, I think it really grows on you. And then the second one is part of their normal lineup, and again, it's been a little while since I've actually checked their website, so I'm not 100% sure if it's still on their website, but Arctic Birch, birch scented bricks, and I thought Arctic Birch was great. It was a very nice blend of like a slightly minty, refreshing eucalyptus scent mixed with a nice, smooth birch scent, and I thought the two fragrances blended very, very well. It's something that you don't find from other companies, and it wasn't too overpowering or too weak. I thought it was just a nice blend of natural outdoorsy ingredients, and sometimes it's the simple ones that you overlook, but it's not flashy. It just smells amazing, and it's not, you can't really find it from a lot of other places. So Arctic Birch, that was my other one from Grizzly. Now we're moving on to Dapper Yankee, and these two I feel very strongly about. So I'll start with one of the OGs, in my opinion, and this is another one. I know Gary will agree with me here. This is Tea Tree Mint. This bar is great. It has some actual fantastic ingredients, and the scent is amazing, and the lather in the shower, fantastic. Your skin will feel amazing after using this. Not flashy, doesn't have the coolest name or the coolest look, but I'm telling you, Tea Tree Mint is where it's at. If you just want a nice, clean, fresh smelling bar with great ingredients and a great lather, you don't need to overcomplicate it. This brick is fantastic, and when you use it, like, you'll know. So that's my pitch for Tea Tree Mint. The other one from Dapper Yankee is a bar that had a fair amount of hype right before it was released, and then I think it kind of fizzled out. I've heard that the sales on this one weren't fantastic, and I think it's been kind of in and out of the lineup from what I understand. This one is Chillax, and this one I actually wasn't like super thrilled about when I first tried it either. But then I actually tried it in the shower and it grew on me a lot. And then I got the Chillax deodorant. I'm telling you, the Chillax deodorant is one of my favorite deodorants, especially for the spring and summer. It's fantastic. It's a nice, subtle to medium potency scent, and it's like a mixture of floral, and it has enough musk that it's manly enough to wear. I think it's really a great underrated fragrance, and I wish more people would try it so it wouldn't get discontinued. All right, we'll move on to the black stuff. I only have one for this one. This is Dogs Bay Beach. I haven't tried many bricks from the black stuff, and they don't have a huge, huge selection of bricks, but from the ones that I've tried, Dogs Bay Beach is just a straightforward, natural, ocean meets forest type of fragrance, and it's very, very good. This is just a really great standalone brick, and it smells like, it actually does kind of remind me of Maine a little bit, because in Maine it's less, you have all your beaches, like you definitely have all your beaches in Maine, but you have a lot more like cliffside and forest meets ocean directly there. It's not as you don't have as many sand dunes like you would in Massachusetts. And then Rhode Island. Rhode Island is just like cliffs, ocean, but not quite as much forest. So I think it's actually the most reminiscent of Maine. And I think it's just a great fragrance, especially for those of you who like ocean scents, but it's not just like marine fragrance. It's like woodsy and ocean combined. Great fragrance, great bar, great ingredients. Moving on to Hoffman's. Hoffman's was probably the hardest one to narrow down because there are so many bars from Hoffman's and they're all very, very unique. And it's hard to know which ones people underestimate because there's just so many of them. So I'm going to give you my first one, which I've talked about many, many times. If you watch this channel for any length of time, you know it's coming. Superfly. I have it in soap, shave soap, deodorant, and cologne form. Superfly is amazing. It is a dupe of Fahrenheit by Dior, and I think it's better than that because I've tried it. Fantastic fragrance, very floral but very warm. Violet, lavender. There's some other scent notes in there, but it is just phenomenal. It's so good. If you haven't tried it, you're missing out. People may look at it and just not know what to expect if you haven't tried the dupe, or if you haven't tried, well, I should say if you haven't tried the original, Or if you're just looking at the packaging, you don't really know what to expect for a scent profile, but I'm telling you, Superfly from Hoffman's. If you're going to try Hoffman's, try Superfly. It's fantastic. And then there's another one that you probably haven't heard me talk about at all in my soap reviews, except for the one that I did on this bar. I think it may have gotten lost in all the other soap reviews because I've done so many, like almost 1,000. And even in the Hoffman's group, there are many that come out. So this one I don't see this one get talked about quite as much. Fideli, I don't even know how to pronounce this. Fideli Mortem. It's like some kind of French or Italian vampire looking thing, and the fragrance on it is like black rose. It's great, very very floral, but it also has some like manly cologne undertones. So good, very classy. It smells like super high end, very very unique, and I think it's very underrated because I don't really hear people talking about it ever, and it's fantastic. So I'm not sure if it's still on the website, but if it is, I would highly recommend trying one. You'll be like, wow, this is new. I've never smelled anything like this before from a soap. All right, here we go. We are moving on. Next up, we have lather. Lather, I feel like I shouldn't call myself the lather expert. It's kind of a weird name to give myself anyway. But two different bars from lather, because I've tried so many lather bricks like for so many years, and they're fantastic. So I feel very confident when I mention which ones I think are underrated. Now, I've never actually looked at Lather's sales from their side of everything, but I would have to guess that these two bricks aren't as popular as some of their other ones, but I could be completely wrong on this. I just don't hear them talked about as much. Let's start with the first one, which I believe is part of their regular lineup now. Newer bar. And I think it's great, and maybe that's why I haven't heard people talk about it as much, because it's not limited edition, it's not like a special seasonal brick, it's just a new fantastic scent, and that is Agave Lime. It's been out for a few months now. Fantastic brick, like fantastic. This bar was very high up in my rankings video when I did my top 50 of all time from every company. Very high up there. Just because it's new doesn't mean it's bad. Agave Lime. One of their best bricks all time. One of them. Just fantastic. It has that, like, I kind of say it's similar to aloe, the agave, but it has some sweetness to it as well. Just a great, fresh, herbal note. And the lime is very, very sour, but very natural smelling. It's just perfect for summer. Great fragrance. And I think it kind of gets lost with all the new releases, but it's such a great brick. If you haven't tried Agave Lime from Lather, great summertime brick. And then the other one, limited edition bar, and I did hear a lot of people say that they like this a lot, so it's not like people disliked it, but it only came out the one time, I believe, and it was a very short window. It probably sold out, and then it hasn't really been talked about too much yet, but we are approaching the season, so I hope it comes out again. This is Cherry Horror. You might have never heard of that before. You might be saying to yourself, I don't even know what that is. So that's why I kind of think it's underrated. It's kind of a spin on their black cherry brick, but it's not really black cherry. It's like a fresh red cherry fragrance with some gunpowder and some bourbon fragrance. It's kind of like a cherry cologne. Fantastic brick. Just fantastic. I wish it was year round. Definitely, if it comes out this year, snag it up before it sells out again. Last but certainly not least, we have BrickBox. This company, if you haven't tried it, first of all, this whole company may be underrated. Because if you haven't tried it, or if you haven't heard about it, it's underrated. BrickBox, make sure you check them out. So we have two on here. One of them is just, well, they're both part of their main normal lineup. And I think these are ones that could get overlooked because they have similar names to bricks from other companies because they are like standard bricks that people come out with. One of them is Frosted Aloe. Aloe is a common theme among soap companies. So when someone sees it, they might not go for that first. They might go for some of the more unique sounding scents. Frosted Aloe is great. When I had my sunburn, and I don't get sunburn ever, but this past summer, long story short, I did a project where I had to work a month of overnights. I volunteered to. project went very well. But I never saw the sun. I was sleeping during the day. I was like an actual vampire. And then I went to the Cape the very first week of June when the UV is the highest. And I just sat out there, no sunscreen, no shade, and I just cooked like the lobster on my hat. That was a mistake. Luckily, I brought Frosted Aloe, the soap, with me. And that was about the only soap I could shower with because everything else just was horrifying. Even the water hurt, the air hurt, everything hurt my skin. It was bad. It was a bad burn. Like, it was borderline first degree burns in some spots. Not borderline, it definitely was. Very, very bad. But that one helped just a tad. It felt nice sometimes. And that's saying a lot for a sunburn. Frosted Aloe, the mintiness and the herbalness from the aloe, perfect for the summertime, whether you have a sunburn or not. And then the second one, don't overlook it. I know lots of companies have bay rum. I'm telling you, this bay rum, even when I first tried it, I was like, well, this is kind of weak. This isn't what I was expecting. That's the best thing about it. It's not what you're expecting. This bay rum is smooth. It has a great blend of different ingredients. It's grown on me so much, more than a lot of bars have lately. This bay rum brick has grown on me so much. Probably my favorite bay rum brick there is. It's not heavy on the clove and cinnamon. It's different. It has Caribbean spices. It has a very different feel to it, and it's hard to describe, but you just have to try it. This bay rum from BrickBox, I'm telling you, if a different company had put this out that had a bigger following, people would be going crazy for it. But since BrickBox is still growing and it's a newer company, not as many people have tried this. But I'm telling you, get your hands on this. When have I ever steered you astray? I don't know. But I'm telling you guys, these are my underrated bars from each company. I want to hear from you. What are your underrated bars? And I'm not asking for your favorite ones. They have to be underrated. So let me know in the comments. And I'm going to give you a sneak peek for some of my upcoming series. So let me know what you think about these as well. I'm going to be doing a video about which bars from all the different companies remind me the most of New England. So I'm excited for that one. And you can speculate about which bars those will be in the comments down below too. And then another one I will be doing a video. I think I'll do top 10, but it could change. But this will be which soap bars are the best for athletes. And I'm talking about like sports, muscle recovery, and then just overall fragrance. I've never really done videos like this before, so it's kind of a cool, exciting thing to adventure into. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and we'll see you next time.